MSQ means music. Hey, what's good? It's your boy OG Illa from the Music Shop, and this is the Music Shop podcast where we talk about music, sports, and culture with a Q. And today I got the legendary heavy hitter in the building.
What's
we
up,
got
my
our
brother?
man Lonnie B. What's good, bro?
What's good, bro?
Shit, man. Trying to get like you one day. That's it.
That's hustling backwards then, man. Come on, man.
First off, how you doing today, man?
I'm good, man. I'm blessed I'm here. You know what I'm saying? Woke up this morning, I had to go and to get my blood work. I don't know. Well, we'll talk about that later.
No, tell me.
I went in, I'm a cancer survivor.
Yes,
you know what I'm saying? So I had to go in to get my blood work, and then I go back for the actual follow-up next week. So
yeah. And how many years have you been cancer-free?
God willing, it'll be 10 years.
10
when I go back
years,
next week,
yo.
bro.
Yo, let's give it up for that one time, man. Let's give it up for that one time. Yeah, that's amazing, bro. Yeah. I want to talk about that. We've already discussed that, but I just want to do something that I always do when I have these interviews. Is I want to give you your flowers first, man, before anything. I've watched you on the radio in the city, now around the world, for probably close to 20 years, man. We used to talk about you in a group home. We used to listen to you on the radio. We used to be like, damn, one day I can't wait to meet him, And I've been blessed to, have a pseudo relationship with you for a long time, but I feel like recently me and you've connected. And I just want to say, man, one, I'm very proud of you, what you've done for Virginia as a whole, but mostly, man, what you've done for yourself, man. You've been killing this shit, man.
Thank you, bro.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Take all the flowers, bro.
It means a lot, bro. And likewise, again, like you said, we met, a while ago, you know, and, and again, to watch the growth, man, and the things that you're doing, man, it's a beautiful thing, bro.
Thank you, bro.
And to be sitting here across from you is just amazing.
Hell yeah. I mean, bro, when I told them y'all were coming, everybody was hyped, so it's really dope to be here. And, we got a lot to talk about. Let's go back. Let's backtrack. Let's talk about this, you surviving cancer. Because one, man, I didn't even know until we had lunch a couple months ago.
Yeah.
I didn't know. So we're talking 10 years. You've been kind of like battling it out and it just kind of kept it low key. Is it something that you did announce on social media or anything like that?
Yeah. And it's crazy. In a world where so many people try to be perfect. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? We all wear this mask. We want to have the perfect selfie, the perfect caption. I think when I announced that I had cancer, it was almost like me taking that mask off, and so many people inboxed me, whether they were people that went through it, people that were going through it, people that feared that they might, and I think it definitely helped me connect with a lot more people on a real level, you know what I'm saying, beyond the music and the party stuff. Yeah. So it might have been one of the best things, that level of transparency might have been one of the best things for my personal brand, period, because it just helped me connect with so many people.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, my grandfather, he passed away from prostate cancer. I'm named after him. Yeah. It was very confusing as a kid because I was only 6 when it happened, but he was like my favorite person in the world. Yeah. So growing up, I've done things to learn about prostates and help prevent myself from going down that road. So to hear that there's been people who've reached out to you, because I didn't even think about that, to be honest. Even when you talked about it, it shocked me so much that I didn't like really digest that. Like, dude, you're Lonnie B. I guarantee you there's thousands of people that hit you up about it. So with that being said, and breaking down that transparency, were you nervous at first about like telling people?
Well, not even telling people. Let's go back to just being nervous when they told me I had cancer. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
It was crazy. I had went to my primary care doctor because I had testicular cancer. Yeah. So when you're in school, they tell you to check your balls for lumps and all that shit.
100%.
Yeah. So
still do.
Yeah. So so that's what it was. Well, I felt something that felt abnormal. I went to my primary doctor. He checked it out and was like, "It's nothing." Gave me some medication.
Wow.
I was taking the medication. I went to the heavy hitter retreat in Dominican Republic, came back. The pain was still there. It probably was a little worse. And
you
my
can't
wife,
trust Dominican Republic down there.
But my wife was, gets all the credit because I was still complaining about the pain,
and she
wanted me to go get a second opinion. Yep. Now me, when you start to think that it could be something crazy, and a doctor tell you that everything is cool, I'm like, listen, he say it's cool. Let's just. I don't want to hear nothing different.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
You want to be reconfirmed that I'm okay.
Yeah. So she made me go get that second opinion. I went into the doctor. It was a Wednesday. I went into the doctor. They did the test, and I went home. I'm trying to think. I was supposed to get the test results that Friday.
Yeah.
I went home on that Wednesday, laid down thinking to myself, how the hell am I going to wait 48 hours to find out if something is wrong? I lay down, doze off, my phone rings. It's my doctor. He said, I hate to call and tell you this, but after looking at your test, I see all the characteristics of it being cancer. We need you to come back in right now to do blood work, and we're going to operate tomorrow. Wow. So I went from y'all telling me that y'all were going to give me the results on Friday to y'all operating on Thursday, and I need to come in now to do the blood work. I said, these people are trying to save my life. Like it's like it must be like something real crazy. I remember talking to my doctor. I was like,
did they confirm that like you were close to death? You know what I'm saying? Or,
nah. So it was actually it was actually the opposite. I asked my doctor before the surgery, like, what's the chances of me being all right, or he was like, I won't know anything until I go and see the results, right? So he did the operation. Everything went well. I went home. The crazy part was the next week was my mom's birthday. So my mom, nobody knows. The only people that knew was my wife, my brother, Danger Mouth. Nobody else knew about it when I was going through the whole thing. I waited for the results, and I got back to get the results. Granted, that was the longest week of my life. That was the longest week. And then the craziest part, everything, as I'm laying there looking at TV, everything is about cancer. Everything is about life insurance. Yes,
bro. I know exactly. And it's not any different than it ever is, but it's on your mind. So every time, it could have been a zodiac sign. You hear the word cancer,
1,000%.
Yeah, I know. No, I get that, bro. I get that.
And that it hit different. You know how when you go to the store and they ask you, do you want to donate money to... So that joint hit me different now, you know what I'm saying?
Now I got to shell out a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, no, and it's not because I feel like I got to, but it's just, it's from a different place. So I go back to get the results. He tell me it was stage 1.
Okay.
Right, it hadn't spread.
That's great.
And
I caught it at a good time.
You caught it at the best time. I didn't have to go through chemotherapy or radiation because they caught it that early. And that's why I feel like it's real important for me to share that, because had I not listened to my wife, and been stubborn and say, let me just ride it out, the results could have been a little different.
Shout out wifeys across the world for holding it down. And that's the thing too, because I'm a big pussy when it comes to that. Like, bro, I'll go get regular checkups, like my physical. They do the regular blood test they do every year. Yeah. As soon as they start, man, I think I got AIDS. I think I got this. You know what I'm saying? Not because I be out here wilding, just because it's a mental thing. Bro, it's like,
you crazy.
They're about to take my blood pressure. Oh, I know I got bad blood pressure, right? You know what I'm saying? And it always comes out great. But, I can't imagine actually confirming some of that stuff, and then the amount of anxiety, the amount of retracing your thoughts, what I could have done better.
Man.
Yeah. But, shout out wifey, because, that's what that's what it's so important too, on two fronts. One, to listen to your body and take care of yourself. Yeah. But have a good partner.
One thing, and the other crazy part is in that 8 days, my wife and I laid in the bed. Yeah. Right. And I really wasn't talking to nobody. We lay in the bed. Them iPhone games. Yeah. We played them games all day. Right. Yes. And listen,
did you win?
I was definitely winning.
You couldn't even let her win, man. Come on. I'm joking with you. Go ahead.
I think the illest part about it all is at that moment, again, I'm in a stage where I don't know which way it's going to go. Yeah. I felt like if this is the end, I felt like I was in such a comfortable space with my wife right there, playing them games, being in the bed with her. They could have rolled the credits and I would have been good. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, all
that's
these different...
love, bro.
So, and there's so many,
that's love.
Just the story alone. Like I told you the week before, I found out on that Thursday. The next week was my mom's birthday. Yeah. I got the results on that Friday. Her birthday party was that Saturday. So I was able to tell her at her birthday party everything that I went through and that I was good. You know what I'm saying? Then lastly, again, the other part...
How did she feel?
My mom is
because moms are
my mom is one of them tough,
cookies.
But she almost broke down. You know what I'm saying? Because it hit her when she really, you know what I'm saying, thought about it. The other ill part about this whole story is I'll never forget laying in my bed looking at the ceiling when I was in that 8-day time frame, saying I had 3 daughters. Yeah, and I was like, yo, this is why I wish I had a son, because God forbid something happened to me, my son gonna make sure that his mom is good. Yeah. He gonna make sure his sister's good. Yep. Couple years later, my wife ended up getting pregnant with my son. Right now, I have a 6-year-old son.
Look at that, man. Yo, God be working, bro.
Listen, bro.
God be working, man. Bro. That's fucking awesome. What's your son's name?
Lonnie. Trey. We'll call him Trey.
Lit, bro. That's so fucking dope. Yeah. And I think you put that in the air. Yeah. I don't think that was by accident at all. And for me, you said you have 3 daughters. I have 3 sons. Yeah. So and I'm not really pressed on having a daughter, but I do know what you mean. Like, I've always, before I had any kids, I was like, if I do have daughters, I want to have a son first, because I want them to beat anybody's ass. You know what I'm saying? I want to be able to take care of the house. Luckily, I have 3 now. You know what I'm saying? So I got a whole squad, and their mother's always going to be good. Yeah. But cancer is definitely like a taboo subject because it affects so many people, and there's still not like a cure for it. And it's not ever going to be like a one cure thing, or at least not to my knowledge. So it's something that will always be kind of like trying to battle around. And, I think, 1, you being a black male, and then 2, you being somebody that is highly respected like you, I think it was very important that you stepped out and said that. And then also, like, you connected with people, because like I said, I'm somebody who's looked up to you for years, and I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that really needed that, and probably saw your bravery and were able to take that next step, whether it be, getting that checked up, or just those things that have been bothering you for years. Like, man, I really need to go see a doctor about this. And you don't know how many lives down the line that saves, or sicknesses or ailments that prevents by just going to see a doctor, man. Yeah. And it sucks too, though, because I just got insurance this past year. So from the time I was 21 till 33, I think when I got it, I haven't had insurance. Sheesh. I've been going to the doctor, but I've had to pay for it out of pocket, or I've just been thugging it. Something's wrong, I'm like, I'll get over it. But now, like, bro, anything's wrong with me. I be going to the doctor, bro. Yeah. Like, so shout out to you for that, man.
Yeah, no, that's real important. You're talking about, so the crazy thing is, again, I went to the doctor this morning for my blood work, and I come back, but it's funny you talked about the prostate thing, because again, I had testicular cancer. They were just testing my stuff for the testicular cancer. Then if you know about prostate cancer, they measure that by your PSA. Yeah. So I went in my 5th year. Like when I'm going in there waiting for the good news, they said that my PSA had elevated. But luckily they just put me on some medication. Everything went away. So, but again, imagine I just went through this. I don't want to go through this again. But the scary part is, I think to myself, how many men don't go to the doctor, don't get their prostate checked? Because the thing about your PSA and prostate cancer, if you start to feel pain or things of that nature, it's probably at a very late stage. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Your prostate can be elevated right now. You not even know if you don't go get it checked. You know what I'm saying?
And they don't really check until you're 40, right? Like, that's a typical age where they start checking your prostate?
Unless you have an enlarged prostate. Like, you know what I'm saying? So sometimes they start to check it a little sooner. Okay. But definitely, 40 and after.
Okay. All right. So just for the people out there watching, don't be ashamed. These things happen to everybody. And be brave enough to do it for yourself, and do it for your family, because at the end of the day, we want y'all around. You know what I'm saying? So that's very cool, man. And obviously, we're going to be praying for you.
I appreciate it, brother.
And 10 years strong, man. We're not even going to doubt it, bro. We're just saying 10 years strong, man. So that's really cool. So while you were going through that, were you still like DJing or anything like that? Like, as far as like the aftermath and the weeks following, the surgery and whatnot? Or did you take a little break and step away for a little while?
It's funny you say that. So again, I didn't tell anybody that I had cancer. So I was DJing a couple gigs, and when I was going to the doctor on that Wednesday and Thursday, I wasn't posting the flyers for the spots that I was supposed to DJ it on that Friday. The promoters I guess, felt a certain type of way. And then they came at me and was like, they gonna move in a different direction, right? I
bet.
I told them that what was going on, why it was, being handled that way. They still let me go.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? So that was one of those situations where I thought to myself, like,
that's harsh, man.
Yeah,
that's really harsh. I know it's business, but that's still harsh, bro.
Nah, so for me, outside of even dealing with cancer, when I think back to 2013, it was a ill time for me because I've always been blessed enough to have a pretty successful career from the time that I started. But around that 2010, 2013, you add cancer on top of that. You think about Serato being out, a million DJs with computers. They don't want to have to pay the money that I was charging. So a lot of promoters, club owners started to go in a different direction. So for me, it was crazy how that was a turning point. And what was ill is when I got sick, I said to myself, I don't know how much time I got left, but I'm going to use the rest of the time that I have left on this planet to do the things that I love. Yeah. Period. I'm not going to get caught up in, I got to do this because I just don't know how much time I have left. Not knowing that, the Art of Noise, I had only done one Art of Noise before I got cancer.
Okay, so you had already started this at that time?
Art of Noise, the first Art of Noise was November 2012. I found out that I had cancer in May 2013.
So where was the first Art of Noise at?
This club called Aqua Lounge.
I remember Aqua Lounge. All right, because we're going to talk about that. That's a big part of what I want to talk about. But all right, continue. My bad.
Yeah, so no, I'm just saying I never thought that following my heart would lead me to the most successful days of my life. Like,
that's a gem.
Yeah, a lot of times we get caught up in, I feel like I got to do this to be successful. Let me do this. No, I just did what felt good. And I didn't do it for the money. I just did it because I wanted to. Like the first Art of Noise only had like 80 people at it. So
that's crazy.
So that time frame, I kind of detoxed myself from a lot of the parties that I was doing. Yeah. Another thing that happened in that time frame was I used to always throw birthday parties, and one of the last birthday parties
for yourself.
That's before the Art of Noise.
That was
the Lonnie B. The Lonnie B birthday party was lit. It was like spring break. Do you know what's the club called? Main Stage? I don't know what that is now.
Yeah.
So it used to be called Paradise.
I was just about to say Paradise. Yeah.
Yeah. So some of my birthday parties, they had 4 levels. Yeah. I would sell out the whole building from top to bottom.
Damn.
Numerous times.
You know how big that fucking y'all ever been there? That's just the top floor is crazy. Yeah. Let alone the bottom 2. Mm-hmm. Damn.
And it's crazy. So or
the middle 2.
Yeah. Yeah. So I used to
God
damn. I used to do that. That's and the other crazy part was I did that, and then I started throwing parties on all the holidays. So the day before MLK, the day before 4th of July, the day before Labor Day, the day before Memorial Day, the day before Thanksgiving.
Why were you getting up the day before?
Because everybody's off the next day.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So you're off on the 4th of July. You're off on...
so you get fucked up here, and then you get the rest of them tomorrow.
Yeah, so you don't have to go to work the next day. So it's not like a typical Friday or Saturday. You can do a party on a Sunday because everybody's off on Monday.
So you get the rest and recover, and then they get back to work.
Exactly.
Wow,
so
that's super strategic.
So then the crazy part is, if you think about it, I stopped doing the birthday parties, and all of those dates switched over to the Art of Noise. So those are the same dates I do Art of Noise. The day before Memorial Day, the day before Labor Day, the day before.
Thinking, bro. You're out here thinking. All right, that's all right, man.
Yeah, so.
So you do them pretty regularly now, like as far as, because that's I mean, at least 4 dates you just named right now.
It's like 4 or 5. I used to do 4 or 5 in the city before it got so big. When the pandemic hit, things slowed down. We came back, and when we went to Browns Island, that was crazy. So now that we do Browns Island, I do Memorial Day and...
Was the first one you did at Browns Island the Redman and Method Man one? Because that's the story that I particularly want to talk about. Because that's a big story about faith. Yeah. But go ahead, my bad.
Yeah. Now, the first Art of Noise on Browns Island was actually right after the pandemic. They were doing Friday Cheers. Yep. So it was crazy. During the pandemic, everybody was telling me, like, yo, you should go virtual. You should do a virtual Art of Noise. You should do this and that. Jazzy Jeff, close friend of mine, he was always talking to me about doing that. My thing was, Art of Noise is more than music. You have to actually be there to experience the energy. Yeah. And I didn't want to water it down. I didn't want to go online and say, this is a virtual Art of Noise. And somebody said, oh, that's what it is? Okay, I've seen it. I'm good. Yeah. So I never did anything Art of Noise related. So when we came back, I think it was
Because, I mean, they were trying to convince the world that everything was going to be online at that point.
Yeah.
I think they underestimated the connection that people have when they're in a space together.
Yeah.
And experiencing the same thing together.
Yeah, no, it's the energy, man. It's looking around the room and seeing people sing the songs, you know what I'm saying?
Hell yeah.
Younger people, older people. But it was crazy. Venture Richmond reached out to me, and they wanted to start doing Friday Cheers. Now, because we were just coming out of the pandemic, they had to limit the amount of people out there. So I think it was like 1,000 to 1,500 people.
Which is seems kind of small for Browns Island in particular, but y'all needed the space.
So because they made the pods. They made them like 4 and 8 person pods.
About that, yes.
So, so
that's cool.
Because we never did it and people were kind of fiending for Art of Noise, they put the tickets on sale and it sold out in I think like 2 hours, 3 hours.
Wow.
Yeah. So then after it sold out so quick and people couldn't get tickets, I looked at the calendar and I was like, that last date, that last Friday wasn't. I forgot, it was like maybe around July, something like that. I was like, y'all didn't have an act for that. Like, if y'all want to do a second show, let's do that. The first time we broke their ticketing system, it broke because so many people were trying to buy tickets.
Lil Wayne on that pit. that's the days, man.
Then the last show we did, the last date that they gave us, I think those tickets sold out in like an hour.
Wow.
Yeah.
You're killing it.
Yeah. So then then we came back Labor Day and did it on our own. Like those first two were on Venture Richmond's dimes.
Okay.
We came back Labor Day, did it on our own, and I think we had like maybe like about 3,500, 4,000 people out there. Yeah.
How do you feel when? Because a lot of people dream of this, like where they can activate fans, they can activate followers. How do you feel when like you put something up and like thousands of people actually like not only attend but like rush to attend that you can sell out in an hour? Like how does that feel now, like after because I assume there's a point in your life where it wasn't close to that. So you said the first one you did 80 people. How do you take that in, remain humble and but still excited about it?
Nah, like the key thing is it's definitely humbling. The other part is I don't get caught up in the hype. I always try to remember why I'm doing it. And why I'm doing it is for the experience of the people. I don't get caught up in how much money coming in, which is crazy because when I first started doing it, like I said, it was 80 people. And I'll never forget.
You were stressed about the money.
Not really. No, because because I enjoyed it. So it was worth the money I had to pay. You know what I'm saying? Then I remember I was scared to ask people. I was charging people $5. And somebody was like, yo, you could probably charge $10, $15 for this party.
That's so crazy.
At a certain point, money started coming in. I'll never forget. I was like, yo, I wonder how much the National is. And when they told me how much the National was, I was like, yo, how the fuck can we're not even making that much money to pay, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that seemed like such a stretch to even be in that position. Fast forward to we did the Hat Factory.
Yeah.
When we did
that's a dope ass. Yeah. That was RIP, a Hat Factory. That was a dope ass venue.
That shit was huge, and we sold that one out November 2015, and so much money came in from that one. And January 2016, I was like, yo, we need to do something different to elevate the experience. So 2016 is when I started paying for artists to
be part of it.
To be a surprise. Like I was like, yo, imagine if I paid DJ Cool, paid Biz Markie, AZ, and never announced they were going to be there.
Yeah.
I'm DJing, I play their song,
and they come out.
And they just walk out. And that's when it started. So
that's lit, bro.
Yeah.
That's fucking lit. So quick story about Biz Markie is he actually created a show. What is the show called? It's for kids.
Not the Yo Gabba Gabba.
Yeah, Yo Gabba Gabba. Yes. So my son loves Biz Markie. He doesn't know it. You know, he's 2.5, but he tries to do the beat. Like we have a video of him beatboxing and stuff like that because of Yo Gabba Gabba. Yeah. You know, isn't that crazy?
It's crazy, bro.
It's crazy, and to think that he's behind that, and it shows you the evolution and the entrepreneurial skill sets of rappers.
Yeah.
Like, and just hip hop in general.
Yeah.
So I want to fast forward because actually the first one y'all did at the National, I thought that was the first one y'all ever did. Like seriously.
Yeah, crazy. Yeah, no,
so for me, that was like my beginning point of like Art of Noise, and like people around, I guess in my circle or my community or whatever, being like, yo, they're doing this at the National, and I'm like, oh, that's crazy. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because like for me, the National is like, national acts.
Yeah.
You know, big acts. And it's like, yo, they can pack out the national?
Yeah.
That's nuts.
But, you know, the crazy part is that it's twofold because, again, when we first started it, like I said, it was 80 people. Then it went from 80 to like 150, 200. There is a nice group of people who feel like they appreciated it more when it was more intimate. So once it became this big production, they didn't feel it as much as they did in the beginning. But then there is the people who, like yourself, who this is your introduction to it. So you probably would understand the intimate, you know what I'm saying?
No, I get it. I love, even with the artists that we work with, a lot of them, I try to preach, like, stop trying to go for shows for 10,000 people and you don't have 10,000 fans. Mm-hmm. You're not going to get the reaction that you want, and it's not going to be what you think it is. Get in that room with 30, 40 people first. Yeah. Make them go crazy. Make them fall in love with you, and then expand that. So I love the intimate shows, but it reminds me of, like, you know, when you have a artist that pops, and then you got the people on Twitter like, I knew about him 10 years ago. Yeah. I was playing his first single when he wasn't even shit. That's what that reminds me of. Yeah. But I don't get mad at that because it's a pride thing. It's like, man, I've been invested in this long.
So the thing about me, again, my whole thing is the connection to the people. So I know those people. So even there's been times when I've had sold out Art of Noises, like on Browns Island or at the National. Yeah. And I always keep a few tickets in case there's somebody that, you know, wants to come. Yeah. And some of those people from the earlier days will hit me up. And because I know that they were a main part of the reason why we're even in this room, I always make sure they're good. So I never forget. Yeah.
That's love. Yeah. Okay, so we talked about this at lunch recently, but I want to, like, talk about faith a little bit. Yeah. We talked about it a little bit earlier, but you told me a story about how you had to foot the bill for Redman and Method Man. Yeah. And if you don't mind me saying the numbers, it was like 100,000 or something like that.
It was.
Crazy. Yeah. Crazy numbers. That's big man numbers. Mm-hmm. So, and you were nervous because you were, bro, I gotta put 100 grand up. Yeah. And then I'm gonna let you tell the story. Tell us about what that feeling was like, and then the results. Yeah. And then that feeling.
Yeah. So a couple things. You know, when I first started off paying for artists, you know, they were in a range of, you know, $1,500, $3,000, $5,000. I think when I got to MC Light charged me 10 grand, and it continued to go up. The most that I ever paid for artists was up to 2019. The most I ever paid for artists was $15K. I paid Redman $15K. Okay. Granted, a lot of these artists cost more than that, but because I'm not promoting you, and I only want you up there for 15 minutes, sometimes they cut me a situation.
And it's you.
Yeah. So then what happened? The pandemic happened. Yeah. And then when we came back, I was thinking to myself, like, yo, I would love to get Method Man. Like, you know what I'm saying? So Method Man and Red had the same manager. Yeah. I reached out to the manager to ask him about Meth. He was like, Meth not doing shows by himself. Yeah. I was like, well, how much is it for both of them? Yeah. He said $100,000.
Oh my God.
Like, shh.
At that point,
it's like, yo, ain't no way. Who want to pay $100? Thank you. All right. Yeah, and hung the phone up. I think, who did we end up doing that year? I forgot who we ended up doing that year, but it was still a great Art of Noise, right? Yeah. Come back the next year, one of the biggest promoters in the city, period, is a guy named Jose Fox, the great Jose. Okay. Jose is legendary. He's always talked to me and told me how proud he was of me and the things that I was doing. Well, like I told you, I've always done my Art of Noises on Memorial Day, Labor Day. He had Browns Island for Juneteenth. Okay. Right? All right. And so he wanted to come up with an idea. You know, I gave him a concept. But again, this is him putting up a lot of paper and, you know, us doing it together. Yeah. And I was like, yo, I don't know. I was like, if we're going to do this together, it's got to be something that I wouldn't want to do on my own. Yeah, yeah. So
can't do on my own. Yeah.
So I was like, well, Jose, one of the things that I wanted to start doing is Art of Noise Presents. See, the thing about Art of Noise, I never really announced who the artist is. Yeah. But if I started a series called Art of Noise Presents, you know, we can do a series and say one of the artists and still bring extra guests. So the first artist that him and I talked about, like, yo, if you can get Nas, if you give me Nas, I want to do the Art of Noise Presents New York State of Mind, and maybe bring like Jadakiss or somebody else, right?
Yeah.
He got on the phone. He talked to Nas's and them people, and I think he said Nas came back. At first, it was 120.
Okay.
Then he came back. It was 150.
Oh God!
Like, so it was something crazy.
It was going to go down.
Nah,
he said, "Nah, let's up that a little bit."
Yeah, so it kept going up, and so
next thing you know, it was $500,000.
Yeah. So, but I now understand why. You know what I'm saying? Because they sent them the contract and all that other stuff. So while we were looking at that, I was like, well, damn, if we was going to pay him 120, we might as well circle back and pay Red and Meth the 100.
Yeah.
So I, reached out to Red and Meth, and they were available for the date. Now, granted, Jose and I were partners. Jose sent the initial $50K to
the retainer
to Red and Meth. So at this point, I'm like, yo, I got to make sure, he get his paper back. So we going back and forth. He's an OG.
Yeah.
He had his way of wanting to do things. I had my way of wanting to do things. I said, Jose, listen to me. Yeah. Let's just give me the first weekend. Yeah. By the end of the first weekend, if it's not working, we can do it your way.
Word.
We built a hype up behind everything. We put the tickets on sale, and if I'm not mistaken, we've probably sold $100,000 worth of tickets in the first day. So we made his money back. Pretty much, we made their money that we had to pay them. Yeah. In one day, and that's a scary thing when you start, thinking about stuff like that.
But again, that goes to you having faith in the plan, having faith in the process, and then taking a chance on yourself, man. Yeah. And that's a big chance to take.
Big chance. And then the crazy thing is, right after that, if you remember, Nas went on tour. What was the name of Nas' tour?
New York State of Mind.
Yeah. Now, I'm not going to say that he took my idea, but I'm just going to say great minds think alike. I didn't know anything about that. And again, that
might have been why he wanted so much money, because that might have diluted his brand.
Yeah, he probably, So, but I talked to Skills about it. I talked to Cal, like, yo, can you imagine bringing Nas and Jadakiss out here? So that was supposed to be the first one.
That's crazy.
And then we did Red and Meth. And to date, that was probably one of the biggest ones.
How many people did y'all have out there, you think?
Probably like about 5,500, 6,000.
All right, can we tell them a story about your wife and Method Man, though? It sounds crazy. It sounds crazy, but...
Nah, my wife is a huge Nas and Method Man fan. Yeah. We went to see the Wu when they were at the Raceway.
Okay.
Yeah. And I got a video of her like losing her mind, to take this picture. And it was like a group shot. He was, you know how when an artist is on stage and he's, so she got that shot. He, reached down and took the little picture with him. So I was thinking to myself, when I bring this guy back again, I gotta get this picture. Yeah. For her, like it'll be an epic fail. You wasn't scared at all?
Huh? You wasn't scared at all?
What? About what?
About him leaving with you?
Nah. Listen, she was ready to risk it all. I ain't front. You know what I'm saying? But the crazy part was, so when I tried to get the picture, and I got the video on my phone, it was her, Redman, and Method Man. Oh, yeah. So they took the picture, and I was like, hey, yo, Red, can you get out the picture for a minute so she can get the picture? And he jokingly, So he got jokingly like, man, fuck that picture, fuck your picture. he walked off, and my wife and Meth are trying to convince Red, like, nah, it's not like that, so then Meth looked at me and was like, that was a horrible delivery line. So it was cool though.
I mean, why are you to blame for who your wife is in love with? You know what I'm saying?
Nah, it's he understood it, but
that's funny.
I got a dope shot of them with my family. Yeah, you know what I'm saying. For me to be, I grew up listening to the majority of the artists that I have, brought to the Art of Noise. Like I've been fan of theirs, so to be able to meet them for the first time at my show and build relationships with them, like
and you're like. You're paying them, so there's also a mutual respect there, like business and personal. Yeah, which I don't think a lot of people understand. Like that can really, excel a friendship quicker than the other way around. So
and what we got and what we built here with the Art of Noise, and I say we because Richmond is the mecca of what everybody around the world sees. Yeah, it's crazy when Redman came in 2019. Most artists perform. We'll go to the side of the stage, take pictures. Yeah. They'll leave. Yeah. Redman stayed the entire show. He saw the energy in that room, and he just talked about how crazy it was. So for a person like that travels all over the world, to want to stay and enjoy the energy, that means we got something crazy.
But Red in particular, and Meth, but Red in particular, bro, he is a people's guy. Like, he's somebody that you could tell, man, this fame shit, this Hollywood stuff, man, that ain't him. Yeah. Like, yo, I mean, look at the MTV Cribs situation back in the day. That was a perfect, like, just Red moment. You know what I'm saying? And he's done even funnier stuff. He did they were talking about this on the Joe Rogan podcast where he Pepsi Spice came out, and he got PepsiSpice.com and like made like some trolling videos about them and stuff like that. Like, he's just that dude. Like, he's just funny and like real down to earth, and like, yeah, that's awesome. And honestly, bro, I feel the same way about us having this convo right now. Like, the way you feel about them is like, I feel like, damn, bro, I got Lonnie B here having a conversation with me. You know what I'm saying? So
it's crazy.
It's love, bro.
Likewise, bro. Yeah. Another crazy thing about Red too. First of all, I appreciate that love. Yeah. Jazzy Jeff does this thing at his crib called the Playlist Retreat, where he invites a lot of creatives to his crib. Creatives, artists. You know, I've seen everybody from De La Soul was there. Pete Rock was there. D Nice was there. I mean, like, everybody.
D Nice from LA? I mean, Louisiana?
D Nice. I don't know of any other D Nice other than D Nice that did the that was online DJing for the quarantine. The legendary rap. You don't.
No, I don't think I'm thinking about the same person.
Yeah. So anybody that you can name, they were there. So it was crazy. I was staying at a hotel. Red was staying at Jeff's crib. Yeah. So I'm a huge Redman fan, period. Yeah. I was driving into the Playlist Retreat. I saw Red jogging. So I thought that he was just either walking or jogging. I stopped to ask him. I was like, yo, I'm about to go to Jeff's. Do you want to ride? He was like, nah, he working out. So cool. I'm thinking to myself, yo, I got to talk to him, because this is before we even had the conversation about Art of Noise. Yeah. Like, yo, I got to talk to him because I want to bring him there. And finally got the opportunity. I seen him walk into the tent for one of the seminars we were about to have. Yeah. I walked up to him. I introduced myself. I was talking fast as shit, trying to tell him about the Art of Noise. He was like, do me a favor. Can you take this picture for me? And that shit. So again, I take the picture for him. I lose. The moment is lost, totally ruined. Yeah. So again, to have that moment and to finally get him at the joint, that shit is just like
kick him out the picture.
Yeah.
You got your revenge. Here you go.
I didn't think about that.
Get back on 1,000. Fuck around with Lonnie B.
That's crazy.
I've had a fanboy moment one time. I booked a lot of acts. I used to run a club down in Chocolate Bottom called Kingdom. Do you remember that?
That does sound familiar.
Yeah, so I used to run that. It was the old Alley Cats, and then we turned into Kingdom. So, but we also had a sister club in Nova called Empire in Springfield. So we would route tours. I would bounce back between the two. And I got to meet Big Crit for the Forever in a Day tour, which is like, for me, my favorite project by him. Me and my brother spent the entire summer just playing this shit nonstop. Red Eye is still one of my favorite songs by him. So I booked it. I want to say was it Slim Thug? No, Slim Thug. Yeah, Slim Thug was on tour with him. I believe it was Slim Thug. So we got to book both of them. So at the end, I got to meet him. Yeah. I had all this shit I was gonna say to him, man. I'm like, yo, we don't know how to mention that. Yo, me and my brother are closer from this. This album's so fire. I love you. Da da da. So I got up to him. I was like, good job. He was just like, all right. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It's like he didn't know. He could tell I was like in an awkward state. We dapped up, and then he got her back on the tour bus. I dropped the ball so heavy, but it was so many thoughts, like just so much like love I want to give to him, and then also being like, I don't want to be weird. Yeah. And then I end up fucking being this weirder than I probably would have been if I would have just said what I said. Yeah. And that was my starstruck moment. I didn't do it again, but damn, that would hurt because I wish I could get that back. So Crit, if you're out there, man, I want to meet you again. Yeah. So that's so dope. So randomly, you dropped Jazzy Jeff's name. I'm a huge Will Smith fan. Yeah. Like I think he's very underrated. Just his impact on hip hop alone. He's the first rapper to ever win a Grammy. Obviously he went the acting route, but Fresh Prince of Bel-Air is my favorite show ever. Have you ever spoken with him at all?
Never spoken. I've never. I don't. Maybe I said hi to him.
Yeah.
Because I did. I remember Jazzy Jeff invited me to his. I was invited to his surprise 50th birthday party at his house.
Wow.
And Will Smith was there.
Wow.
Yeah, and he was definitely Will Smithing too.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah,
Will
like
Smithing.
he was like in the room, just what you would expect from Will Smith. He was definitely doing that. He was
life of the party,
1,000%. Yeah.
I mean, he's such an interesting guy, but like he was one of the first rappers I knew every word to his songs. Big Willie style, still one of my favorite albums ever. He can make mega hits. Yeah. And I still feel like he's a good representation of the culture. So
yeah, I think I seen Skills posted, and he had a great point. Like, definitely one of the first, and he's an incredible storyteller. So when you talk about storytelling, like, you definitely had to keep his name in that conversation.
Bro, I mean, even if you go to like his big hits like Miami, right? Yeah. Like, bro, he was telling you really about Miami and what it was like at that time, and like it made me want to go. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like I was like, oh shit, okay. Yeah. All right, I speak all types of language. You know what I'm saying? Like, all right, bet. Yeah. So how you said Jazzy Jeff is one of your like good friends. Can you tell me a little bit about y'all's friendship? How it developed? Was it through DJing?
Definitely through DJing. Skills. That connection was kind of through Skills more. His manager at the time named Darnell. Okay. But because Skills was running with them, they did a show in Atlantic City. Okay. And Skills invited me up, so I go up to the show. I was into photography, so I'm taking all these pictures and videos. Yeah. So then I finally get a chance to meet him. We meet, and then he invited me to his crib the next day. Wow. So,
and where was this at? Where's this? I mean,
in Delaware. So he lived in Delaware.
All right, cool.
Yeah, so it's crazy.
That's a random place for him to live. Yeah, right. Yeah.
It's not too far from Philly though. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? But it was crazy. His basement had just flooded, so when I come to his crib, we go to his bedroom, and in his bedroom he had his turntables on the dresser. And if you're a DJ, you know that's how we all start. Like turntables on the dresser. So hell yeah. He's in there. He starts doing his routine. I take my camera, I record the whole routine. Then we just start trading music, and we also started talking about life. Jeff was one of the first people. I think that was 2011. Yeah. So he was one of the first people that I really talked to a lot about the art of noise and the vision and stuff. So I just released a promo video where he's telling, when Lonnie first said, I saw the vision, blah, blah, blah. So, so he's been there since then. Wow,
that's incredible. And to have somebody like that, bro, who's a legend, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like a world, like a international legend. Yeah. And he seems like a really cool guy, just in general.
One of the coolest, bro. Like there's, all the DJs, the producers, everybody's around him will say the same thing. Like one of the most down-to-earth, selfless, giving people that you would know.
Which is so funny because, like, as a kid, all I knew him as like, I mean, I knew he was DJ, but like he was Jeff or Jazz from Fresh Prince of Bel-Air getting thrown out. You know what I'm saying? Like that's an iconic fucking scene that, and I think they said something about like they never reshot it. Like it's the same one like every time. I believe.
Think about it.
That's so funny. Yeah. Do you feel like you've learned a lot from him in like the DJ aspect as well?
I learned a lot from him in the life aspect. Okay. Even so much like just recently, I think I talked to him. It's been within the past 7 days, and one of the things that like right now I'm in a space where, my wife and a lot of people tell me that I'm too accessible. Okay. You know what I'm saying? So it's like I need to kind of accessible. I need to kind of pull back and have more me time. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So I was talking to him, and he kind of confirmed that and was talking about, like, he does that all the time. Like, if it's not an emergency, he'll cut his phone off and, just go, do that. So I've learned a lot of stuff from him about music. Yeah. More stuff from him about life.
That's awesome. Yeah. That's awesome to have anybody in your life that can give you that, let alone somebody at the stature of Jazzy Jeff.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So we talk about, being husbands. We talk about being fathers. We talk about being entrepreneurs. You know what I'm saying? Businessmen. We talk about, making sure we get the respect and not selling ourselves short, so definitely a close friend.
I think that's something that, and I want to dive into that a little bit. I struggle with being accessible, being so hungry to achieve my dreams or to work because I love my work that I can't sometimes disconnect.
Right.
And that's something I've been working on personally, but also something my wife has been, or my fiance has been helping me work on, because I got kids now.
Yeah.
And it's like, we're going on vacation to New York, and I've already said, like, bro, once I go there, I'm cutting this shit off, bro.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to be the dad who is working all the time, and that's the only thing he does. And then we're trying to make memories, and their memories of me is being on the phone in a conversation about business while we're over here trying to enjoy time together.
Yeah. So unfortunately, you know, I definitely, what you're saying you don't want to do, I definitely feel like I've been that, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. You know, especially for my girls. But I think, you know, my wife and my kids understand, because, you know, I'm an entrepreneur. So I'm hustling to be able to make sure they are able to live the lives that I was able to provide for them. Like, you know, I'm a high school graduate. I never went to college. Same. All I did was, you know, rub 2 sticks together and try to get a flame with my career, you know what I'm saying? And to be able to say that that's how my career started, and to say, okay, you know, I paid for my kids to go to college out of my pocket without no, you know,
no government
loans. None of that stuff. It's out the pocket. You know what I'm saying?
Fire,
so they
that's
get it.
Awesome.
But the other good part about it is, now that I have my son, you know, my career's a little bit more established. So I'm kind of in cruise control. So, you know, I can definitely spend a lot more time, you know, with them. Yeah, 1,000%.
And I think too, your wife believes in you enough, and your kids believe in you enough that, like, it's not a personal thing. Like, where it's like, sometimes, man, I've seen it with my own eyes, where, like, people are with people who don't believe in them.
Yeah.
And so this idea of, like, hey, I'm an entrepreneur, I'm trying to get out the mud, I'm trying to build something, they don't give a fuck. Yeah. They don't care, and they don't see that life for their significant other, so they don't try to help them. My wife has been, or God, I keep saying my wife, she's gonna be, but my fiance has been so supportive of me doing this. And I'm not gonna act like everything's been perfect. It hasn't. But, you know, that type of energy when I step out the house, like, my wife is like, go get him. You know, like, yo, you got this, da-da-da. That shit puts the ultimate battery in my back, and it makes me feel like I can have conversations with Lonnie B. You know what I'm saying? Real shit.
Now, my wife came into my life. I can honestly say my wife fell in love with Lonnie Battle, because Lonnie B was still in the infancy stage. You know, of course, I was doing the Super Friends stuff, but my wife was around when I said, one day I want to be on the radio.
Wow.
Like, so my wife was there then. To being at the point where I'm ready to walk away. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So she's been there that long. She's been there when there were no, like, slam pack parties and all that other stuff. Yeah. So again, you know,
you were struggling to get the equipment.
Yeah. You know, so there are people that are attracted to that part, you know, which is a lot of the Lonnie B side of things. But, you know, she had a car when I didn't have a car, so she was driving me around. You know what I'm saying?
On it. Speak on it, bro.
Yeah. So she definitely believed in you know, everything that I've become. You know what I'm saying? The other crazy part was her parents. You know what I'm saying? She comes from a very well-off family. Her father played professional sports.
Wow.
Mom, professor. She comes to Richmond and meets a guy that says he wants to be a DJ one day, right? So
that's rapping. In the early 90s when it wasn't even a real thing.
So it was kind of crazy, because they really weren't feeling it. So imagine, and now it's crazy. They won't feeling it. I felt a certain type of way.
Hell yeah.
Fast forward to now, they were able to come, like, a full circle moment for me was when they came to the Art of Noise and seeing a sold-out national 1,500 people up there screaming for me up on that stage. So it's just like, wow, you know what I'm saying? Then the other part of it is the same way they wanted, the same way they wanted so much for their daughter, right?
Oh, yeah.
Now I have daughters. So now when I talk to her dad, it's like, I get it.
Yes,
I get it. You know what I'm saying?
Bro,
so it's for me. There's so many things that happen in my life.
Some buster comes out there and talk about he wants to be a rapper.
Man, listen, bro.
Can you break my record, Dad?
That's hilarious.
Oh man, that's fucking awesome, man. So did you ever after that Art of Noise, have you had a conversation with him about it, like about how that made you feel, and, you know, where you're at with everything now, as far as like your relationship with your parents?
No. So for me, it's a lot of things that first off, don't nobody owe me anything. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. As much as we feel like we want things, don't nobody owe me anything. So for me to go back and talk about being disappointed or it would have for me it would have felt like you owed me. You were supposed to believe in me because I said whatever. So the fact that you didn't, but you gave me a chance, you stuck around long enough to see it. That's all I needed. You know what I'm saying? You know
and they came. So you know what I'm saying. You kind of got it. Some what's understood doesn't need to be said.
Yeah. No. And they're super proud of me. Like I said, my mother-in-law is a professor. You know, at William and Mary, and she's she's had me come down there to speak to her class and all that stuff. Do you have
any articles in was it the hip hop history museum there?
Oh, not that I know of.
No. Okay. Yeah, I got a CD there.
Oh wow, that's dope.
Yeah. It's not even my good CD, unfortunately. Yeah. Hope nobody listens to it.
Yeah.
All right. So we talked a little bit about your beginnings just a second ago. So I've been wanting to get there. When we had Mike Street on here last time, he was talking about kind of developing the music scene here in Richmond for rap or for hip hop in general. And how y'all used to go up and freestyle on his radio show and kind of a little bit about the creation and beginnings of Super Friends. So can we go back there and talk a little bit about what it was like to be on that radio station and rapping with Danger and Skills and some of these legendary guys, and then ultimately forming Super Friends.
Super Friends. Well, first of all, let me say, Mike Street, in my opinion, is probably one of the most important pieces to the Virginia hip hop scene.
I say it all.
Yeah, Mike Street is one of the most.
I be saying that shit all the time. He does not even get enough flowers for like who he is.
I tell him that every time I call him on his birthday. You know, me and Mike talk a lot. Mike is like a big brother. Yeah, you know what I'm saying. So I tell him all the time how important and how iconic you know he is. So much so, again, you know, he had a show called the UR House Party at University of Richmond. Yeah. Skills used to always go up there. Yeah. Lil Rock, Disorganized Union. Yeah. So I started going up there, and it was just a whole bunch of rappers. It was a thing called the Fat Freestyle Clinic. That at the end of every show, we would all go up there.
So old.
Yeah. And we would just go up there and spit bars. You know what I'm saying? For maybe like 30 to 20 to 30 minutes, right? Yeah. And it just became a thing. Sometimes, even when I wasn't there, I used to listen to see who was going to be up there. And this is all because of Mike Street. Yeah. Eventually, Mike Street got the job at Power 92. Yeah. And Mike, you know, tapped me and was like, yo, I'm going to need somebody to do the college radio station. Do you want to do it? I said, of course. Wow. That was the beginning of my DJ career. So if Mike wouldn't have gave me that opportunity, who's to say that I would even have, you know, the opportunity to come to Power. So again, like, you know, when I start thinking about Mike, like I told him at this seminar or this panel we were just on together, it's safe to say if there wasn't a Mike Street, there would definitely be no Super Friends. And I don't know if I could be 100% sure to say that there would be the Lonnie B brand that people know. You know what I'm saying?
That is incredible, man. That is, and I did, because me and you spoke about it, so I spoke to him a little bit about it, and he's so humble, bro. Yeah. He won't say that. You know, he won't say, because I think for him, he believes in you that much that he doesn't think that. Like, he was like, yo, you're going to be who you are because you're Lonnie. Right. But to hear you say that and to give him his flowers like that, that's awesome. Yeah.
So even Mike one of the people that can call me, like, I hate when people call me at the last minute for all the noise tickets. Yeah. Mike is the one person that can call me 5 minutes before the doors open. Yeah. And I'll always make sure that he's good, because for me, for Mike Street to be up there in them stands looking down and understanding that this is because of you, that's you know, that's real important to me. Bro. Yeah. So
we've had a similar relationship with me and Mike, as far as like him being like a mentor to me, to being a more like an uncle. Yeah. You know, a great grandpa. No, but you know, and one thing about Mike, he's always gonna be Mike.
He's always gonna be Mike. Yeah.
And then two, just he really does, like, when he believes in something, he supports it, and not in like, I support you, like, hey bro, like for me, when he heard he's seen me rapping for years. When he heard the record that he felt like was the one, he said, "Yo, send it to me now." And then it's on the radio the next day. You know what I'm saying?
That's
like that's the type of guy he is. And I said this in my interview, which is very similar. Without that, I don't know that there's any of this. Yeah. He put a different type of confidence in my in me, and then also he didn't let me give up on myself. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And so it's really cool to hear you say that, because we're talking. I'm almost 20 years difference in those time periods. You know, almost. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah. So the Mike Street Super Friends 90.1 days is almost 30 years ago. Oh my God. Yeah, it's almost 30 years ago. Like when you're talking like 94, 95 is when all that stuff.
Yeah, that really is almost 30 years ago. Man, y'all are old as hell.
Yeah.
I'm joking.
You know, but the crazy part, I didn't know. Like, so when you start talking about the Super Friends and I didn't know Danger. Danger was one of the rappers that I heard when I wasn't there. And I was just like, yo, he's super dope. Yeah, so we opened up. I still have the newspaper article. We opened up for Notorious B.I.G. and
Super Friends did?
I'm trying to think. This might have been before we were even considering ourselves Super Friends. Okay, but yes, you know, it was us, myself, Lil Rock, I think Sean P. Skills, Kalanji, all of us.
Was Danger part of it as well?
Danger was outside trying to get in. And,
my God, that's nuts.
Yeah, so he said that he remembered hearing my voice. He said the way that my voice pierced through, you know what I'm saying, the air when I used to rap. Yeah. He was like, yo, he had to meet me. So so I didn't meet Danger. Danger ended up being a substitute teacher at Huguenot. What? And he was teaching some friends of mine. And they was like, yeah, there's a guy named Mr. Maples. He go by Danger Mouth. And I'm like, yo, that's the guy I used to hear on whatever. Yeah, on we connect that way. And then we all started, we were still going up to by this time, we all started going up to the station around the same time. Yeah. So then there were the episodes where it was me, Danger, Skills, Kalanji, Speed is Torn, Mindbender, like all of us would be up there at the same time. One day we were at Danger's crib, and I was like, yo, you know what's crazy? I was like, yo, we're all like the Super Friends. It's like we all have the same way the Super Friends had different powers. Yeah. They were all from different areas. Yeah. But when they came together, they was just, unstoppable. Yeah. Like that's kind of how we are. We're all from different parts of town. We all rap different, but when we come together, it's and like then from that, so from that day forward, we ran with the whole Super Friends thing. Yeah.
First off, I didn't know that the Super Friends were actually a cartoon until Mike told me last time.
You did not?
I did not, bro.
Yeah, one of my favorite cartoons.
Yeah, well, I've gone back now since the last episode and looked at it, and I was like, holy shit, this is crazy. So, can you tell me a little bit about like that feeling of like when y'all started getting notoriety and then eventually getting on the Aaliyah remix, like how that came about, and then like what that feeling was like?
So the craziest thing is,
because it was "Are You That Somebody," right?
"Are You That Somebody,"
which is probably my favorite Aaliyah song.
Yeah, it's crazy. So the crazy thing about even when the Super Friends started, Quiet as Kept, I was a fan of everybody who, was a part of the crew. So I was trying to figure out a way, how do I attach myself to, when I think back to 94, 95, I didn't know anybody that I thought was better than Mad Skills. Like Mad Skills was
like the dude.
It was it. Like, you know what I'm saying?
The epitome of rappers.
Period, bro. Yeah. So to even find myself, before the Super Friends, him and I ended up bumping into each other at Rose Hall at VCU. Yeah. We were in a cypher. It was a lot of us. And it might have been like maybe 10, 12 of us. Yeah. And that 10 or 12 turned to 7, 5, 4 until it was just me and Skills going back and forth. Whoa. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So the fact that he was giving me, props at that moment meant a lot to me. Yeah. And that's kind of where our friendship began. Yeah.
That's kind of, for me, in a parallel, is like, that's how it is with me and Nick. Mm-hmm. Where it's like, and they know how much I love Nick. So my whole career was like, one day I'm gonna have this track with Nick. Like I don't know what I don't know if I'm gonna have to corner him, hold him hostage, whatever. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna happen. And then I sent him tracks throughout the year. Sent him, DMs, emails, whatever I could get it, as far as contacting him. And right when I was doing Richmond Renegade, which I feel like is my best album. Yeah. I sent him one, and he was like, it's time. You know, at this point, I've invited him to studio sessions. He's listened to all types of music. We even had a little falling out because I didn't like Vices when it first came out.
Yeah,
it's like one of my favorite albums now. But I wanted to hear aggressive content, Nick, like rapper Nick, and he had moved into song making, and I didn't understand it. But he's always been like, for some reason, just super understanding with me. You know, but when I sent him that track, he was like, yeah, it's time. And then he sent me back the verse, and I was like, yo, this is happening. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I felt the same way of just like, bro, how the fuck did I even, manage this? Yeah. You know, you gaining skills, respect, and then kind of developing that group with him, how did that develop into the Aaliyah remix?
Well, again, there's so much before that. Like,
Skills,
Skills was one of the first people in the city with a major record deal.
Yes.
So when he got his record deal, there was no Super Friends when he got his record deal. So I just
it didn't exist yet, or he kind of put that on the back burner.
Nah, it didn't even exist. Okay, I don't even know if him and I had our relationship. I'm just a rapper from the city that's seeing in the Source magazine that there's a rapper from here named Mad Skills that just got signed. You know what I'm saying? He was coming to this club called Rick Rock's Cafe in Southside.
Yeah.
So I'm from Southside, Skills is from Northside. And over Southside, like I was definitely considered one of those dudes.
Yeah, yeah.
To hear them talk about Skills kind of made me, feel a certain type of way until I heard him.
Because he was from Northside too.
Yeah. So I heard him. But when Skills got his record deal, I remember like, yo, it would be so dope if I could connect with this guy and be on his album. Like, this is before social media and all that other stuff, bro.
Yeah, like, bro. You had to literally see him in a physical magazine or see him on TV.
Yeah. So he came up with this song he wanted to do called Unseen World.
Okay.
With all of us on it. But not only that, if you listen to Skills' album, from where I'm the first voice that you hear on his album. Like in the beginning, him and I going back and forth doing this freestyle. Wow. And then, it kind of goes. So, again, another one of those situations. There's so many things that happened in my life that I wanted to happen, or I thought it would be dope if it happened, not knowing that it would really, happen.
Manifest.
Yeah. So, then at that point, Super Friends, everybody, we're traveling with Skills. We're doing all those different things. Skills is signed to Timberland.
Okay.
Well, he was signed to Big Beat. That situation kind of faded away. Eventually, he ended up signing with Timberland. Danger, there was a mixtape by DJ Reese called 50 Tongues to 100 Lungs. It was a whole bunch of red rappers rapping on the joint. Danger chose to rap on that Aaliyah record. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
It was just a freestyle. Like he was like, yo, this is a test.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You blah, 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 like the broadcast test thing. He did his verse. He played that verse for Mike Street. So I get this part confused. I don't know if he played it for Street first or he played it for Skills, because Skills ended up doing a verse too after it. So Mike was like, I'm going to take your verse and attach it to the song, and I'm going to play that on the radio.
Mike was breaking all the rules.
Yeah.
He was breaking all the rules back then.
Yeah. So
he told us about some of the shit he was doing. Yeah. That's hilarious.
So the original version of that Aaliyah record that played was Danger and Skills. That played that Friday. I feel like it was Mike Street and Eric Lee were the ones that played it. That Sunday, I wrote my verse, recorded it. When it came back on the radio that Monday, I was on the record.
So y'all basically strong-armed y'all way on the...
It was probably, I think if you Google it, it's probably one of the first accepted unofficial remixes. We just did it. Street played it here. Somehow I think he got it to the Buddha Brothers in 757.
Wow.
I think Jim Boogie, who actually worked at she worked at the label, and I think they printed up bootleg copies of the vinyl. Somehow it ended up getting
vinyls out there of it.
Yeah. Somehow it got in the hands of DJ Enough in New York and Funkmaster Flex. When they played it on Hot 97, that's when it was over. They still play that version to this day. But what was crazy about that was I remember telling Danger, I know we'll probably never get any money from this because it's unofficial. Yeah. But I was like, if we can get anything from it, I would love to get platinum plaques from it.
Yeah.
And to meet Aaliyah.
Yeah.
Here's another one of those things that came into.
Did you get both?
So Aaliyah had to do a show at this iconic club called The Tunnel.
Okay. Yeah.
In New York. Yeah. That version of the song was so big. Her camp was like, she wants to do that version. So they reached out to us and flew us to New York. My first time meeting Aaliyah was when we walked on stage to do the song. Bigger than that is I'm doing my verse and I turn and look at her and she's saying it with me.
Oh, shit.
You know, she's saying the verse with me, bro.
Nice.
So then, you know, we get off the stage. Yeah. So
again, I got chills, bro. That's crazy as shit.
Yeah. Nah, bro. It's insane. Like, yo, after it was the RZA was backstage, Missy Elliott, Puff. Like, it was a real surreal moment. So we got to meet her, and we got the platinum plaques. Yeah, so I don't know how. I think our mentor,
I gotta
Bill,
see it, man. I gotta see it.
I got it down in my studio.
Yeah.
So then the craziest part. So I got a lot of platinum plaques from DJing on the radio. Yeah. That's the only one that I ever got for rapping.
Yeah.
Left it at my mom's crib. Her house caught on fire.
You don't have it?
I didn't have it.
Oh, okay.
Danger realized that my joint got messed up in the fire.
Yeah.
And without me knowing, he went back and did everything, called everybody he had to call.
Wow,
and got it.
We're done.
Yeah, so the one here.
Shout out real friends, bro. Shout out real friends. Danger's a real one for that, bro. And I've only heard good things about him, bro. I've only heard Mike told us last time that he was like the way that artists rap and shoot their own videos and do all that stuff. He's always been that dude. Yeah, that's crazy.
One thing that I've taken from Danger, so Danger and I were roommates, you know what I'm saying? My first time moving out the house was when me and Danger had an apartment together. Yeah. The one thing that I learned from Danger is Danger never really believed in saying that something could have been better. Like that could have been better. If it could have been better, then make it better. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So that's
I like that. I like that.
So that's always been, you know, my thing. Like,
especially if you got control over it. Why not, man? Why are you saying it could? Like, yo, fix it then.
And the other part is like performing. Like when you're doing shows, like Danger was like the RZA of the Super Friends. Like whenever we did concerts and all the other stuff, he was the brainchild behind how am I going to connect these songs for this show and do this and that. So
to make it a real experience, which is kind of like DJing a little bit, like in a sense of because like you got to figure out the flow and the curation of it and the vibe, so that way there's no down points and people aren't like turning the station. Yeah, 1,000%. That's crazy. Yeah. Wow, hold on. That first off, I'm still blown about the platinum plaque thing. Like that's a really good person. That's not just like a great story. Like, yo, that's a really good person.
I forgot how I got the video of him presenting it to me. Like, I forgot how he told me. Like, he got me to meet him somewhere. Yeah. And then he went in the back of his car and
oh, so he really surprised you.
He surprised me, yeah. So he got me, that joint brought tears in my eyes because it was one of the things. It was one of the things I just thought was gone, but it was cool, you know. Yeah. As long as my mom was good, like, you know, I get over
Yeah. So the material things are one thing, but still, it's the thought, you know, and then it's the effort. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And it wasn't easy. Like, you can't just call Atlantic Records and say we need another one. Like, I think you had to find the album, you had to find the CD cover. So he did all of that stuff on his own and send it to them so they could put
the package together.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
Good dude.
But that's the type of shit that Danger does. You know what I'm
that's why and just to go back, when you said you only told like 3 people about you having cancer, he was one of the 3. Yeah. Now it kind of makes sense of like why that is. Not because he got you the record, because that's how good a friend he is.
Yeah, Danger, he's been there. Like when I first started throwing parties, you know, us.
We gotta get him on here.
Now Danger.
We gotta get him on here. I gotta talk to him.
He's one of those guys. Like when it comes to branding, the fact that I've owned LonnieB.com since 1996, 95, 96.
Did they even have computers back then?
Listen. So it's crazy. We own the Super Friends. We own. I own LonnieB.com. I used to own Throwback Thursday. Like I'm one of those guys that go crazy.
Yeah, you own 804 Day, don't you?
I own 804 Day. I own It's 804. Yeah, I own a lot of different brands.
Boy, is the hip hop Mark Cuban over here, man. That's all right,
yeah.
I wanted to just say something real quick.
Yo.
That Timbaland verse on Are You That Somebody was, first off, the video for it, like back in the day, I remember like I could not wait for him to get on because I knew every word to it. You know, I'm a man from the big BA. You know what I'm saying? Like that whole video was so cool to me, and how they tied in the Dr. Dolittle part of it. Like, so for y'all to get on that record in particular, for me, is just like super fucking cool because like I was obsessed with that song. I mean, I still love that song to this day. So now I got to go back, run it back, listen to y'all's remix a billion times because I've listened to it actually quite a few times since I knew you were coming in here, so I could get refreshed on it because I remember it being a big deal, and I remember it being like a VA thing. You know what I'm saying? And even though Aaliyah's not from VA, her being like a, I don't want to say stepchild,
but connected to Tim and Missy. Like anybody connected with Tim and Missy, they
Sierra
just,
too. Yeah, at one point I was just like, yep, Sierra's already adopted. You know what I'm saying? She's here.
The ill thing about that, the one horror story that I have about the Aaliyah thing is, so Skills was signed to Timbaland, and that's what made it believable. People felt like it was official because of Skills' connection to Timbaland.
Yeah.
DJ Clue put it on one of his mixtapes. Missy Elliott was listening to the mixtape, heard it, reached out to Clue, and wanted to know who was rapping on his record. Yeah. And Missy ended up getting in touch with Danger. Yeah. And signed Danger off of his verse. What? For the Are You That Somebody record. The thing that bothered me was, now, this is not to take away from Danger's. Danger, by far, is the creator. His verse is incredible. Yeah. But it's definitely common knowledge that they thought Danger Mouse was the first and last guy because I didn't say my name in the record. Wow. Yeah.
Wow. Why didn't you? Was it a thing to say your record name at the record on the record?
I didn't think about it. Like, okay. So the crazy thing,
because I always say OG at the end of my verses. So you never did anything like that?
I said my name in a lot of my raps, but just not that one. Okay. The other crazy part is I didn't even write my rap to that beat when I wrote it. As much as it sounds like I'm flowing, I'll never forget because we didn't rap like that. Yeah. So Twista. It was Twista had a group called the Speed Not Mobsters or something back then.
I bet you that was a fast rap.
So and they had a song called Adrenaline Rush, and I think I was listening to that to try to find inspiration to writing my verse and stuff. Okay. So it was.
What was your favorite line from what you wrote on that song?
I don't even remember. What is it? My crew got juice like Marley Marl. You know what I'm saying? Which ended up putting me in a position to talk to Marley Marl. Like, it's crazy the way that a lot of stuff.
That is crazy, bro. It's like, yo, what the hell? Do you got every story in the world?
Listen,
that's nuts.
So
bro.
It's crazy. So
have you met Missy?
Never met Missy. I met them. I saw them at the Aaliyah performance, but never, anything outside that. She follows me on Twitter. You know what I'm saying? But
that's cool as shit. Yeah. To me, she's my female goat. Like, Missy and Wayne, like they're my goats. So I was gonna be a little jealous of you.
No.
But it's cool to see her get a street named after her. Yeah. It's cool to see Skills get a holiday after him. Yeah. So it's one thing about Virginia, man, is we're proud of Virginia. Yeah. And I think that gets overlooked a lot because there's a lot of narrative about you can't make it in Virginia, you can't do this. I think that success is relative because like it's all about what you want too. You know what I'm saying? And then two, you're a living testament of somebody making it in Virginia. You know, so we had this discussion as well at lunch. What is some advice you can give to artists, rappers, singers, whatever, about one, making it in Virginia or making a name, but also connecting with DJs, because I think that's something that we spoke about, that we agreed on, but I think it's something that needs to be said by you as opposed to me. What are some advice you can give them?
The biggest thing that I've learned throughout my journey, like, I've been in this hip hop game or doing this hip hop thing for over 30 years. Yeah. Professionally, easily for over 25. Yeah. And one thing that I can say is one of the most important pieces to where I am in my career is this game is built off of relationships. You know what I'm saying? It's built off of relationships. One of the biggest, and you know, I don't fault a lot of the younger, you know, artists because a lot of times they just don't know.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, but you know, if I can give them any advice, is build solid, genuine relationships.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Don't look at it as a situation where here's my record, play my record. If they don't play your record, fuck you.
Yeah.
Because just like you said, you know, what if you would have had that attitude when you was going to Nick about, you know, making a record with you, right? When the time is right, you know what I'm saying? You had built a relationship with them.
Yeah.
When the time was right, you know, it happened.
It happened. And it happened. Honestly, had he done records before then, would have been trash. I wasn't even as good as I was. You know what I'm saying? I hadn't developed where I needed to develop. And he probably saw that. So I agree with you 100%. Like it's timing is everything. And building relationships is everything. Because to go into with us, I know that I've rubbed you wrong in the past. So, you know, for us to be able to sit down, have lunch, talk about it, and then one, you acknowledge my growth, which was really important to me, but also be able to take the time out your day. And even though I may have came to that lunch and been the same asshole that I was before, but you took the time out your day, had some lunch with me, and you got to see some of that. So I believe 100% like relationships are everything, man.
That's why I'm here right now. Again, if the younger you that I met, I probably wouldn't be here. But again, it's all about also giving people grace. Understand that there is an opportunity for you to be a different person. We hadn't talked in a long time. So instead of me saying that's the same dude, nah, let's get together and chop it up. Let's see where we at now. You know what I'm saying? So being able to give grace, man, build solid relationships. That's the one thing that I see a lot of people doing. And also, they got to get rid of that sense of entitlement. You know, they got to stop feeling like because I'm from Virginia or because I'm from Richmond, you gotta do this for me. Nah, bro. And I will say, anybody that's watched my career or my body of work, I will go on record to say the best thing that anybody has ever done for me was to do nothing for me. Because if I wanted it bad enough, I figured out a way to get it done, which empowered me more because I didn't feel like I was at the mercy of somebody making my beats. I learned how to make my own beats. You know what I'm saying? You know, I DJ myself. If I want to get my record played on the radio, I'm on the radio. I can play my record. You know what I'm saying?
Facts, big facts.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So I you know, you cut out all of the you know, the middleman. And you know what's crazy? My mentality, I definitely think as a rapper, I was a pretty good rapper.
Yeah.
I didn't play my own stuff because I didn't want people to feel a certain type of way. You know what I'm saying? I understand
that. Yeah, and like you were taking advantage of your position of power.
But I should have. You know what I'm saying? I should have and I could have, but I felt like I sacrificed, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, I sacrificed doing what I could have done for myself as a rapper. Yeah. Based on how I felt like people would feel. You know what I'm saying? So
and I think that that's something that's important for a lot of people is that you're allowed to believe in yourself and you're allowed to take advantage of your opportunities. I don't mean take advantage of your opportunities, meaning like don't sell yourself short. Like, yo, you can rap. Yeah. And that I feel like telling that story, you did sell yourself a little short because you were not taking full advantage of your opportunity. Because guess who created that? You did. You know what I'm saying? Nobody did that for you. I know you give a lot of credit to Mike, but Mike said, hey, do you want to do this? You could have said no. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Now I got to figure it out. Or I'm good. I'm gonna just do this. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And who knows what your life would have been like had you have had that type of attitude. So
wait, I also want to say this too, because when I got into radio, that was like the late 90s. By 2002, I convinced my program director to give me a show that played nothing but local hip hop. I was one of the first people to have a show. It was a 2-hour show called Straight from the Streets. Wow. And I played Nick records. I played who else? I mean, just anybody in the city that was doing it. Boog Hood from
Joe Doja.
Definitely Joe Doja. You know what I'm saying?
Were you around when Cadillac Man was popping? Like, were you like part of like playing that or anything like that?
So Joe was a part of the Super Friends. Like
I know he was part of was it
Disorganized Union.
Disorganized Union. I did not know he was part of Super Friends.
So we put that record out. Our record label put Caddyman out. Danger produced Caddyman.
What?
Yeah.
I didn't, bro. All right. So when I first heard that track, I didn't know he was from Richmond.
Yeah.
I didn't know he was from Virginia. I just heard it. And I was like, bro, this shit is fire. Mm-hmm. And then I had this guy who was a really good friend of mine in the group home. His name was Mike. Mm-hmm. Mike Holton, R.I.P. But he's the one that instilled the Virginia pride in me. Mm-hmm. So even like I talk about Nick being on BET and me being a big fan of that. That was Mike who was like, bro, he's from Virginia. We have to root for him regardless. You know what I'm saying? Fuck all the other shit. You got to root for Michael Vick regardless. You know what I'm saying? You know, and so Lil Nikki, you know, remember she was doing her freestyle thing going on the radio. Bro, we got to root for her. Like, and so when we found out about Caddyman, it was the same thing. Like, I was bumping that joint. He's like, you know, he's from Virginia. I was like, no, I did not know that. Yeah. And he's like, now it's like I love this song even more. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like, I'm proud of this shit. You know what I'm saying? I'm proud of where I come from. And I think our city is amazing. So to find that out, I love it even more now. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And I'm working on my top, because we got the 50 years of hip hop coming out. Yeah. So I'm gonna do 50 of what I feel like are the most important tracks or the most important, biggest tracks that I've heard in my career. Like through my time of listening to
50, music. You gonna do a whole 50?
50 from just songs though. Now I'm not gonna do artists. I'm gonna do songs. And I'm at 42 right now.
Okay.
Obviously, Caddyman is definitely one of those.
1000%.
Are You That Somebody remix is one of those, and it's only from Richmond. I'm not gonna or 804. I'm not gonna branch out to 757 or anything like that.
Now, are you keeping it biased to bars or just the impactful record?
Really, the biggest factor is impact. Things that I've seen with my own eyes that I've seen like carry weight. Like I even have a track on there where I feel like there's these songs I've heard throughout my career for the last 17 years that I've seen carry weight. Yeah. Or not 17 years, really 30 years, because some of these tracks are older, but I've been around, and doing music for around 17 years. So, I sent it to Mike. He was like, yo, this list is crazy. Because it really does. It captures everybody from Skills and Doja to FNF Chop and Trap Ties Kai. Yeah. Some of these guys and everything in between. Because one thing I've been blessed to do is I've been able to migrate in different circles. I've never, where I see a lot of people trapped into just their genre or their type of music. Yeah. I've been able to bend that because I shoot videos. I do graphics. I got a blog. I got this. I've had things like this before. I've done shows. So I've been exposed to a multifaceted, list of rappers. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like everybody who was on that recent list that everybody's talking about right now, I knew everybody but one of them. Yeah. And I've worked with majority of them. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? In some type of capacity. So for me, it's like the list thing is crazy, but I do want to show people like, hey man, there is great music out here, bro. That's
not only that, man. Like for me, being a person that's watched the scene for as long as I have, like you said, there are a lot of, circles and cliques and different, these are the guys that make the trap or the street rap. These are the people with the bars. You know what I'm saying? I would love at some point for, cats to kind of come together. Just, not like on some kumbaya shit, but I think it would be dope to see this rapper named Rio. You know what I'm saying? Rio.
Ice Out Rio.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Yo, like he definitely does a lot of street stuff, but his wit, you know what I'm saying? It's crazy. So to hear a record with him and Nick, you know what I'm saying? Like I think they both would introduce each other to their own different crowds. You know what I'm saying?
And I think that Rio can actually contribute to a song with Nick as well. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And I have a song. It's called Trap Star with Rio, Fresh Porter, and Young Crazy.
Fresh Porter is crazy. Fresh Porter is killing it.
Yeah, he's from Petersburg. Young Crazy is killing it out in 757. I mean, he's really gone national. He's got a great manager, Ahmad. But they have a song that was like, it was huge last year, the year before. It's called Trap Stars. Fire. Fire. Yeah. And I love Rio, man. I think he's got a lot of talent. I think he's got all of the sliders up. I mean, he's got the look, he's got the following, he's got the brand, he's got the skill, he knows how to pick beats, you know what I'm saying? And he has the credibility.
Another thing I like about that generation, when you talk about the Trap Ties guys and
G Sambo.
Yeah, all of them, yeah. You know, all of them, and one of the first people I seen do it was J. Roddy Rod, but they were able, all these guys are building their brand, they're making their mark without radio. They're not going to radio saying, I need, like, play my record so I can do X, Y, Z. They're showing that with the radio, without radio, I'm going to make it happen. So, and I've had conversations with all these guys. They're doing the opposite.
They're getting the streets on lock so that the radio has to fuck with them.
1,000%. Yeah, 1,000%.
And that's how you should do it. Yeah. That's how you should do it. You got to be undeniable.
Yeah. Those guys are doing shows and got people going crazy more than like some of the records we play on the radio. Like if these artists came to the city, you know what I'm saying?
1,000%.
Yeah, and for me, I love to see it. You know what I'm saying?
Man, we have talked a lot about the past. Yeah. And which we're gonna have to bring it back because I don't think we even scratched the surface, to be honest. But I also want to know a little bit about like what's your plans for the future, bro? Like you know, we discussed the app a little bit. Can you tell us a little bit about like what's your plan for the future, or what's next for Lonnie B?
So much, man. My brain works like a machine. The first thing that I realized is I wanted to rebrand myself. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of last year, for my birthday, I reached out to a friend of mine and told him I wanted to get a new logo. My old logo was cool, but I was like, some of the coolest logos that I see, they like Starbucks. You can see Starbucks, but if you just see that little lady, whatever that thing is, you know that is.
I think it's a mermaid.
Yeah, whatever it is. Yeah. Nike. You know.
Apple.
So I wanted something like that. So he made the Lonnie B. Yeah. So he made the Lonnie B, and when he sent it to me, I was like, "Yeah, the B is cool." He was like, "But look at it, it's actually LB. So it's an L and a B in the joint." So so you know,
Illustrator, baby.
Yeah. So you know the way that people have kind of. And it's clean. I said I wanted something real clean and simple. Yeah. But the way that people have gravitated towards that is real cool. So
check it out. You know what I'm saying? LB. You know what I'm saying?
So
this is branding at its finest.
So watching people, you know what I'm saying, rock it. So I definitely want to get into doing merch, you know what I'm saying? And just kind of branding that and that just kind of representing just me as a person, you know what I'm saying? People wearing that. You know what I'm saying?
I'm rocking it.
Yeah.
You got it on me now.
Yeah, so and it's real. Like it's I'm not even really interested in selling it to people. I really just give it to people who I respect. You know what I'm saying? Right. You know what I'm saying? So,
that one hit hard, right?
Yeah. Go ahead, man.
That's hard,
real talk. So I got that. My daughter is a DJ. My daughter Aaliyah.
Yeah.
Wow.
So and her name's Aaliyah.
Yeah. So
is that what's her DJ name?
Aaliyah the DJ.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
Y'all go follow her.
Yeah. So she's already on the radio. She's already in the heavy hitters. She's already DJing on Sirius Satellite.
How old is she?
She's 19. She'll be 20 next year.
Jeez.
But she started DJing when she was like 11. Like she was, I still had a video. Like I have everything documented, bro. But
that's
my thing is,
that you've been able to get all of this stuff on footage.
Yeah,
I own a content company, and I still can't get half the shit.
Yeah,
on footage.
Bro. I everything that I talk about.
What's your storage like?
Huh?
Can we talk about that? What's your storage like?
What, as far as?
Hey, where are you storing this shit? Like, you got it in the cloud or some hard drives?
I got hard drives for days, like 50, 60, 70 different hard drives.
Wow.
Backups of backups. Yeah, but it's like that Biggie show. I got Me and Skills in 95 rapping and How Can I Be Down? You know what I'm saying? Like anything. And one thing about the crew will tell you.
It must have been like this big back then.
Yeah, no, it was. Yeah, looking like you worked for the TV station and shit. But one thing that the crew will tell you that if we want something to be preserved, give it to Lonnie.
Yeah,
you know,
you're the historian.
I'm gonna keep it. So my goal is I want to make sure I put her in a position because like I think I mentioned earlier, like eventually in the near future, you know, I've been on Power 92 for 25 years come December.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? And you know, I think it's time for me to move to, you know, what's next for me.
Okay.
And to open that lane for the DJ Dollars, the Aaliyahs,
Shout out Dollars,
the J Dreams. You know what I'm saying? Like the same way that I love the Jay-Z's, the Nas's, and all the things that I played in my day, I think this is more their music than it is mine. And when I realized that instead of occupying that space just because I can, you know, I just kind of want to pass the torch. Yeah. But what's really important to me is,
and Dollars, bro, he's been doing it since he was young.
Yeah,
he's been doing it since he was young.
And Dollars to tell you, Dollars is one of the people that one day it had to be Instagram. He was like, everybody tag Lonnie B and tell him he need to put me on the radio.
What? And then you had to do it.
Nah, hell no, yeah. I hit him like I say, my guy.
This ain't the way.
I say, if you ever do that again, I promise you'll never be on the radio. I'll use my power to make sure you're not, like, that's not how you do it.
Yeah.
You got to build relationships. You got to do X, Y, Z. He took heed to it. Me and Dollars became cool. And it won't just because he came back on some stuff. But he understood the process. You know what I'm saying? Now, you know, he's, you know, definitely one of the main players over there right now.
Yeah, I was about to say, he's somebody that I've personally seen work hard as hell.
And he's the thing that I like about Dollars is he's a good person. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's so much more than just being a good DJ. Because some of these DJs out here might be a good DJ, but they're not good people. You know what I'm saying? Yeah,
that's, you know, there's some rappers out here like that too. So can you tell us a little bit about the app?
So one of my goals is to launch my own internet radio station.
Yeah.
One of my biggest problems is I'm a perfectionist.
Yeah.
So I've had the station now since, well, I've had the name and the concept since like 2015.
Yeah.
But I've had my own studio since 2019.
Yeah.
And I still haven't launched it. And I got to do it because I'm spending a lot of money on it.
Yeah.
But pretty much what it is
ROI.
Yeah. For me, at the end of the day, is just a place for me to hear and play the music that I love and appreciate. And even if I got 10 people that listen to it, it's just like a place where we can come and hear that. Because right now I feel like regular radio is definitely geared more toward my kids now. Like what my mom used to say to me about my music, like, that's not music. That's how I feel about some of this stuff. But
we were just having this conversation earlier with my boy Vasily. He told us NBA Youngboy is the greatest rapper that ever lived. And I'm not hating on NBA Youngboy, but obviously that's not how I feel. You know
but here's my take on that. You know, I've seen a lot of OGs and gatekeepers talk about how the music is bad, the music is whack, this or that.
Yeah.
My thing is, the music it's just not for us.
Yeah, it's not for us.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Who are we to say, you know, if my daughter and them say that that's what it is, then for them, that's what it is. And I respect that.
And we can talk a little bit about numbers too. The numbers reflect it. Yeah. It's not like they're saying this and they're the only people saying this. This is the young people across the board. They're rocking with the young boys and the Dirks and
the funniest thing. Do you remember how we made fun of 21 Savage and Lil Uzi?
Oh yeah,
when they were on
the XXL freshman
and the little cipher joint.
I went in on it.
Yeah,
I love them now.
Fast forward to what they got now.
I love Savage. I love Uzi. And I think the dynamics of rap have changed. So I won't go as far as to say like it hasn't changed. Like the things that we respected or respect about hip hop were lyric driven. Yeah, that might not be the thing nowadays. But again, you said it best. It's not for us.
It's not for us.
I'm still obsessing over 90s R&B. Yeah. Like, bro, there's a plethora of dope artists that have come, but that's just where I live. I think where you live too, and where we bonded over. It's like, but when I let somebody who's into neo soul, that might not be their vibe. You know? And I think that just in general, we got to do a better job of like ushering in the kids and letting them be themselves. Like, why do they have to listen to us? If it ends with what we like, then it's over. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? There's no more. And if we're gonna just keep on spitting out people like we like, then we're just cloning them. Yeah. We're not allowing that artistic expression to flow. We're not letting them be free. We're not letting them speak to what they have going on. Because, for instance, listening to Ice Cube recently. Bro, he was talking about what he was going through in the early 90s. That's not my problems now. That's not your problems now. You know what I'm saying? That's not your kids' problems now. Not saying there's not relevant things that still happen, but we can't expect somebody to from who was born in 2010, you know what I'm saying? 2005 to understand or relate to some of the stuff that like Illmatic or like Jay-Z or even Lil Wayne at this point. You know what I'm saying?
To my kids, Jay-Z is just Beyonce's husband. Like they don't care about his body.
The disrespect is real, but
they don't care.
But you're right though. You're right.
Yeah. So
all right. So last question I have before you, since we're on the Jay-Z topic and the aging out, how do you feel? And I think I asked Mike this as well, but Nas is kind of rejuvenated his career. We talking about him a little bit earlier as far as like somebody you love the book. How do you feel about his like longevity and him being able to, and Hit Boy being able to bring out this new rejuvenated, rebranded Nas? How do you feel about that?
I think it's crazy. Illmatic, Jay-Z is probably my favorite rapper. Illmatic is my favorite album, though.
Okay.
Another thing that I could say as far as that whole Jay-Z Nas comparison is most of the things that I will say about Jay-Z, as much as I love his body of work, it's what he did back in the day versus what he's doing now.
Yeah.
I think it's incredible that Nas made my favorite album, back in the day.
93.
Almost, you know what I'm saying? And it's still making dope, relevant music that is still staying true to him. He's not trying to be anybody other than, what he wants to do, which is the same way he came into the game. So for me, that's incredible. Like, I don't know how many other rappers that's been doing it for 30 years that can say that they're still doing it at that level that Nas is doing it right now.
It's incredible, man. And it's I think the biggest arguments of him not choosing good beats and, born beats or whatever, like that's not true anymore. Like, bro, Hit Boy is the producer right now. So I love to see that for him, and I want to see what's next. Like, how can he continue building on what the hell he's building on now? Because I feel like he just keeps leveling up. And, is there going to be a point where that stops?
Yeah.
So
Magic, the first Magic was probably my favorite, like of the newer.
Okay, I think it was either King's Disease or King's Disease 2 or 3. One of the King's Disease. That was because there's a song on there called Blue Benz, and what
are your thoughts on the one that just came out?
I like it. I mean, the thing is, it's like when you're that talented, and you're true to the art of it, you're always gonna have some type of level of quality. Yeah. And then I think Hit Boy has opened up something in him that is truly special. Like as far as like. The production's fire. Yeah. Like I can put his beats up against people that, are making songs and not all it is the beat. You know what I'm saying? So I want to say like for Nas, like to see him do it, I'm just super excited about it because again, I think Illmatic is the blueprint for a perfect album. 100%. If you want to do perfect rap albums, that's the first one, and then that's the blueprint for anybody else who plans on ever making a perfect rap album. Yeah. So again, to see him, I wasn't obviously bumping it in '93. I was 5. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? But I grew up around people, and that was like preached upon. Like, Illmatic, Stillmatic. It was written. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So these are he's a staple in hip hop. Yeah. But to truly see him compete in today's climate, where I think a lot of people don't appreciate lyrics as much. I love it, man. And I just want to keep seeing him do it.
Yeah, but the thing I love about Jay, though, is his business sense. That's the thing that,
I mean, I think he's affected everybody who does music because of his business sense. If you go ask any rapper right now who is even close to successful, they're going to have to mention Jay-Z. Yeah. He taught you how to hustle. He taught you how to brand yourself. He taught you how to put yourself in rooms that we would never have been in the hip-hop culture. And he's done it with, I even say, without having to sacrifice his brand.
1,000%. Yeah. One of the early stories that inspired me in Danger, we always, joke about this. Somebody told me about a story where Jay-Z went to a museum and saw a car in the museum. And he wanted to buy the car. and the person that he was talking to said the car wasn't for sale.
Yeah.
And Jay-Z said, let me speak to somebody that makes some decisions. And eventually he left with the car.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So, you know, one of the running things.
Some real boss shit
so
right
one
there,
of the running things that me and Danger do when we find ourselves in situations like that.
Yeah.
We'll be like, well, you know, let me speak to somebody who makes some decisions.
Makes the decisions.
Yeah. So again, it's just like watching the way that he moved. You know, back in the Rockaware days.
Yeah.
I got the Rockaware leather jacket with the Rockefeller logo on the back. Bobby Dash, which is Dame Dash's brother, he was the promotions person there. He gave me the number for the person to call. They was going to get it for me on a discount.
Yeah.
When I called, I forgot the name, but whatever Jay-Z's sister name, it was Jay-Z's sister that was running the Rockaware stuff. So the way that I watched him put his family, his people in position, you know what I'm saying? When you think about Emory, you know what I'm saying? And the whole Paper Planes thing, like it's all crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
and to see it like continually level up as well has been impressive, bro. I mean, Biggie said it best. Who would have thought hip hop would take it this far?
Yeah.
I mean, he had to deal with Samsung. You get a Samsung phone, you get a Jay-Z album. What?
Yeah, it's crazy.
What? He had. There's 3 streaming services that people talk about: Spotify, Apple Music, and Tidal. Yeah. Tidal was a thing before Jay-Z, but it wasn't Tidal. Yeah. You know, and so you're not only competing as possibly the best rapper that ever lived on my Mount Rushmore, as we discussed. You're competing against the music industry as a whole. This is where we're at now. I mean, he sold it. Jack Dorsey, who owned Twitter, owns it now. Yeah. Again, bro, Jay-Z sold a business to Jack Dorsey. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like,
it's crazy.
We're talking about a different level of human being at this point, bro. Yeah. Like, and I just want to go before we end this. Being Jay-Z's or being Beyonce's husband, not a bad title. Yeah, exactly. I'll take it. You know what I'm saying? I'll take it. So, before we get out of here, man, tell them where they can find you, bro.
I'm super big on branding, so it's real easy. DJ Lonnie B on everything. Anything that's ever come on, I always try to make sure I go grab DJ Lonnie B on it. So whether it's Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, you know, I'm on some of those other. What's the other ones that people use? TikTok. I don't know how to use it, but I'm on there.
He's on there, yo.
Yeah. So you find me on all that stuff.
Can you tell me about your app? What's your app called?
I mean, you can go to the App Store and just type in DJ Lonnie B. It should be in there. If not, I know I checked for it. I don't know if it was on there.
I downloaded it.
Yeah, but I think I was talking to my developer and something needs to be updated. Okay. But if it's not in there, you know, check back in about a month or so. It'll be in there. And in there, you can actually click on a link to listen to my internet radio station and all that stuff now. Yeah. All
right, cool. Yo, it's your boy OG Illa from the Music Shop. If you are interested in doing any type of creative direction, branding, graphics, or videos, please hit us up at theMSQshop.com, or you can follow us everywhere at theMSQshop. That's MSQ. MSQ means music, and we're out. Peace. MSQ means music.